Hey everyone, welcome to my blog. Today I'm going to be discussing some commonly confused words. We've all been there. You're writing an email or an essay and you're not sure if you're using the right word. Or maybe you're reading something and you come across a word you're not familiar with. These are the moments when we need to pay extra attention to the words we are using. And today we are going to go over some words that are often confused or misused to help you become more confident in your writing and speaking. So grab your notebook and let's get started. Accept versus accept. Accept means to receive or take something. Example, I accept your gift. Accept means to exclude or not include something. Example, everyone is invited to the party except for John. Affect versus effect. Affect is a verb meaning to influence or change something. Example, the new policy will affect the company's profit. Effect is a noun meaning the result of an action. Example, the effect of the policy change was a decrease in the profits. Already versus already. Already means everything is prepared. Example, we are all ready for the meeting. Already means something has occurred previously. Example, I've already seen that movie. Altogether versus altogether. Altogether means everyone or everything as a group. Example, let's all get together for a group photo. Altogether means completely or entirely. Example, the project was altogether a success. Allude versus elude. Allude means to indirectly reference something. Example, he alluded to the company's financial troubles in his speech. Elude means to avoid or evade something. Example, the suspect eluded the policy for several days. Alternate and alternative. Alternate means to take turns or happen by turns. Example, we alternate between working from home and working in the office. Alternative means an option or choice. For example, we have two alternatives to choose from. Among and between. Among refers to a group or multiple people or things. Example, he distributed the candy among his friends. Between refers to a one-on-one relationship or two items. Example, he split the candy between himself and his brother. Amount versus number. Amount refers to a quantity, usually of something abstract or uncountable. Example, the amount of sugar in the recipe is too high. Number refers to a quantity, usually of something countable. Example, the number of cookies in the jar is decreasing. Appraise versus appraise. Appraise means to evaluate or assess the value of something. Example, the appraiser appraised the house at $500,000. Apprise means to inform or notify someone. Example, I will apprise you of any changes to the schedule. Ascertain versus ensure. Ascertain means to find out or determine something. Example, the investigation sought to ascertain the cause of the accident. Ensure means to make certain or guarantee. Example, we need to ensure that all safety protocols are followed. Ascent versus ascent. Ascent means the act of going upward. Example, the ascent to the summit of the mountain was challenging. Assent means agreement or consent. Example, he gave his assent to the proposal. Believe versus conceive. Believe means to have faith or trust in something. Example, I believe in the power of positive thinking. Conceive means to form an idea or become pregnant. Example, she conceived the idea for a new business. Beside versus besides. Beside means next to or alongside something. Example, he sat beside her on the couch. Besides means in addition to or apart from something. For example, besides being a great cook, she is also a talented artist. Bring versus take. Bring means to come with and deliver something to a certain place. Example, can you bring the groceries from the car? Take means to move something from one place to another. Example, I'll take this box to the storage room. Capital versus capital. Capital refers to a city that serves as a political or financial center. For example, the capital of my country is New Delhi. Capitol refers to a building where, where a state's legislature meets. For example, the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. is home to the US Congress. Careen versus career. Careen means to tilt or lean. Example, the boat careened to the side in the strong winds. Career means a profession or occupation. For example, he began his career as a software engineer. Cite versus cite. Cite means to quote or reference something. Example, she cited several studies in her research paper. Sight refers to the ability to see or something seen. Example, the sight of the sunset was breathtaking. Complement versus complement. Complement means something that enhances or adds to something else. For example, the wine was a perfect complement to the meal. Compliment means to praise or express admiration. Example, I complimented her on her beautiful dress. Conscience versus conscious. Conscience means a sense of morality or sense of right and wrong. For example, his conscience wouldn't allow him to lie. Conscious means aware or awake. For example, he was conscious of the danger. Continuous versus continual. Continuous means without interruption or stopping. For example, the music played continuously throughout the party. Continual means happening frequently but not necessarily without interruption. For example, he had to deal with continual interruptions during his presentation. Council versus council. Council means a group of people who come together for a specific purpose. Example, the city council met to discuss the budget. Counsel means advice or guidance. For example, he sought counsel from his lawyer before making a decision. Criteria versus criterion. Criteria is a plural noun meaning a set of standards or rules used to make a judgment. Example, the criteria for selecting the winner were based on creativity and innovation. Criterion is a singular noun meaning a single standard or rule used to make a judgment. For example, the criterion for success in this project is meeting the deadline. Data versus datum. Data is a plural noun meaning information or facts. For example, the data collected from the survey will be used to make decisions. Datum is a singular noun meaning a piece of information or fact. For example, the datum provided by the witness was crucial to the investigation. Device versus device. Device means an invention or gadget. For example, the new device can translate speech in real time. Devise means to plan or come up with an idea. For example, she devised a way to save money on her electricity bill. Disburse versus disperse. Disburse means to pay out or distribute money. For example, the company disbursed the funds to the employees. Disperse means to scatter or distribute. For example, the crowd dispersed after the concert ended. Discreet versus discreet. Discreet means careful. For example, I need you to be discreet about this matter. Discrete means separate or distinct. For example, the project consists of several discrete tasks. Elicit versus illicit. Elicit means to draw out or bring out. For example, the teacher elicited the the correct answer from the student. Illicit means illegal or unauthorized. For example, the police found an illicit drug operation in the building. Emigrate versus immigrate. Emigrate means to leave one's country or place of residence to live in another. For example, he emigrated from Mexico to the United States. Immigrate means to come to a new country or place of residence to live. For example, she immigrated to Canada to start a new life. Ensure versus insure. Ensure means to make certain or guarantee. For example, we need to ensure that all safety protocols are followed. Insure means to provide insurance coverage for something. For example, I insured my car against theft. Envelope versus envelope. Envelope means to cover or surround something. Example, the fog enveloped the city. Envelope refers to a folded paper used to enclose a letter or document. Example, please put the letter in an envelope before mailing it. Everyday versus everyday. Every day refers to every single day. For example, I exercise every day. Every day is an adjective meaning commonplace or ordinary. For example, this is an everyday occurrence. Everyone versus everyone. Everyone means all people. For example, everyone is welcome. Everyone means each individual person or thing. For example, every one of these apples is red. Accept versus expect. Accept is a preposition meaning to exclude or not include. For example, I will eat everything on my plate except the broccoli. Expect is a verb meaning to anticipate or look forward to. For example, I expect to see you at the meeting. Farther versus further. Farther refers to a physical distance. For example, the store is farther away than I thought. Further can refer to physical distance or metaphorical advancement. For example, we need to further out understanding of the topic. Fewer versus less. Fewer refers to a smaller number of things that can be counted. For example, I have fewer apples than you. Less refers to a smaller quantity of something that cannot be counted. For example, there's less sugar in this recipe. Flair versus flair. Flair refers to a natural talent or aptitude. Example, he has a flair for playing the piano. Flare refers to a sudden burst of light or flame. Example, the gas stove has a safety flare. Fled versus flew. Fled is the past tense of the verb flee, meaning to run away. Example, the criminal fled the scene. Flew is the past tense of the word fly, meaning to soar through the air. Example, the bird flew over the trees. Flounder and founder. Flounder refers to struggling or flapping about. For example, the fish was floundering in the shallow water. Founder refers to failing or collapsing. For example, the company founded last year. Forbear versus phobia. Forbear is a verb meaning to refrain or resist. For example, I will forbear from eating too much candy. Forebear is a noun meaning an ancestor or predecessor. For example, my great grandfather was my forebear. Forward versus forward. Forward is an introduction or preface to a book. For example, this book has a foreword written by the author. Forward can mean moving in a direction or referring to the future. For example, let's move forward with the plan. Former versus latter. Former refers to the first of two things mentioned. Latter refers to the second of the two things mentioned. For example, I prefer the former option to the latter. Fourth and fourth. Fourth refers to going forward or onward. For example, we will move forth with the plan. Fourth refers to the ordinal number 4. For example, this is the fourth time we have met. Good versus well. Good is an adjective meaning desirable or satisfactory. For example, the food is good versus the food tastes well. Well is an adverb meaning in a good or satisfactory manner, or an adjective referring to health. For example, he is well. Hanged versus hung. Hanged is the past tense of the verb hang, referring to execution by hanging. For example, the criminal was hanged for his crime. Hung is the past tense of the verb hang, referring to something being suspended or attached. For example, the picture hung on the wall. Health versus wealth. Health refers to the state of being physically and mentally well. Example, good health is essential for a happy life. Wealth refers to an abundance of money or resources. For example, wealth can bring happiness, but it is not the only factor. Hoe versus hoe. Hoe is a garden tool used for cultivating soil, whereas hoe is an informal, sometimes derogatory term for a woman. Hole versus hole. Hole refers to an opening or gap. For example, there's a hole in my shirt. Whole refers to the entirety of something. For example, I ate the whole cake. Imply versus infer. Imply is a verb meaning to suggest or hint at something. For example, his statement implies that he is not interested. Infer is a verb meaning to deduce or conclude something from given information. For example, I inferred from his statement that he is not interested. Its versus its. Its is the possessive form of the pronoun it. For example, the cat licked its paw. Its is a contradiction of it is or it has. For example, it's a beautiful day today. Lead versus led. Lead can be a noun meaning a metal or a verb meaning to guide or go first. For example, he led the group on a hike. Led is the past tense of the verb lead. For example, the pencil has a lead core. Thank you. That's it for today's blog on commonly confused words. I hope you found it helpful. Remember, the more you pay attention to the words you're using, the easier it will become to avoid confusion. And don't be afraid to look up words you're not sure about. It's always better to be safe than sorry. If you have any other commonly confused words that you would like me to cover in our future vlogs, let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you very much for watching.